Chosen one, slow down for a moment. Take a breath. This is not a coincidence, and it is not random that you are here right now. You didn't scroll into this message. This moment was arranged, timed, assigned. Heaven placed this in your path because something within you is able to hear what others would ignore. There is a reason your spirit feels alert, almost summoned, as if a quiet alarm just went off inside your chest. Chosen one, you have survived unseen battles. You've walked through confusion that never made sense to the people around you. You've carried pain silently, learned lessons the hard way, and questioned your calling more times than you admit. And yet you're still here, still sensitive, still willing, still responsive when God whispers instead of shouts. And before we go deeper, pause for a moment. Hit subscribe, like, and comment Amen if your spirit is already responding. Because this message is about to speak directly to you, not to the crowd, but to you. Right now somewhere, maybe closer than you think, a woman is facing something heavier than she can carry alone. Her voice may be quiet. Her struggle may be hidden behind strength, routine, or silence. But her need reached heaven, and when heaven responded, it didn't send noise, chaos, or confusion. God sent alignment. God sent positioning. God sent you. You may be wondering, why me? But that question itself is part of the confirmation. You don't need all the details. You don't need to see the full picture. You don't need permission from people who can't see spiritually. Obedience rarely comes with explanations. It comes with instructions. And right now, your heart feels stirred because this is not emotion. This is activation. Have you noticed how certain messages hit you differently? How sometimes your spirit reacts before your mind can analyze? That's discernment awakening. That's purpose stepping forward. God is not asking you to fix everything. He is asking you to respond, to show up, to extend help, to be a vessel of timing, compassion, provision, or presence. This is bigger than charity. This is divine assignment. You were prepared through your own pain so you could recognize hers. You were refined through confusion so you could offer clarity. You were delayed so you could arrive exactly when needed. Chosen one, stay with me, because what you are about to hear will reveal how to help, why this woman matters, and why this moment could not wait. Something hidden is about to be brought into the light, and your obedience may be the turning point heaven has been waiting for. Chosen one, there are cries that never reach human ears, but they never miss heaven. Not every prayer is spoken out loud. Some are whispered through tears that fall in the dark. Some are carried in exhaustion, in quiet endurance, in the strength someone puts on just to survive another day. This woman may not be able to explain everything she's facing, not because it isn't heavy, but because it is too heavy for language. And yet God heard her. Her pain may be hidden behind strength. She shows up. She functions. She smiles when needed. She carries responsibility with trembling hands and a steady face. To the world, she looks capable, but heaven sees the weight she's been holding alone. God hears what words can't carry, the sighs, the pauses, the moments she almost gave up but didn't. Nothing was missed. Nothing was overlooked. Ask yourself this, chosen one. Have you ever been in a place where explaining your pain felt harder than enduring it? Where silence felt safer than asking for help? God recognizes that place. He doesn't require perfect prayers or detailed explanations. He responds to the heart. And when those cries rise to heaven, whether spoken or unspoken, God moves. But here is the mystery of divine response. God often answers through people, not always through thunder, not always through signs in the sky, but through alignment, through timing, through those who are willing to listen, to notice, to act. Throughout history, heaven's help has traveled through human hands, and this is why this message reached you. You may wonder why you felt drawn to this, why your attention slowed, why something in your spirit felt alert, almost responsible. That is not coincidence. That is positioning. God doesn't interrupt randomly, He interrupts intentionally. And when He brings awareness, it is often an invitation to become part of the answer. Do you sense it, chosen one? That gentle urgency? that pull that isn't pressure but purpose. You are not being asked to fix everything. You are being asked to respond, to be available, to allow compassion to move through you instead of stopping at you. God heard her cry, and instead of sending noise, he sent connection. Instead of sending explanations, he sent empathy. Instead of sending distance, he sent proximity. That's how divine help often arrives, quietly, precisely, through those who are willing to listen beyond words. So let me ask you this. What if your awareness right now is not accidental but assigned? What if your presence, your support, your obedience is part of the answer she's been waiting for? Stay open, chosen one. Stay attentive. Because when God hears a cry, he also prepares a responder. And the fact that you are here means heaven trusts you with what comes next. Chosen one, pause and listen to what your spirit has been feeling. That pressure rising in your chest, that quiet insistence that something needs your attention now. It is not fear, and it is not anxiety. Fear scatters the mind. Anxiety clouds the heart. What you are sensing is different. It is focused, clear, purposeful. It is direction. And direction always carries weight. God does not rush, but he does move with precision. Heaven is never late, never early, only exact. When something must happen in a specific window of time, God does not shout from the sky. He stirs from within. He places a gentle urgency in the hearts of those he trusts, those who can feel without panicking and move without needing applause. That is why this feeling hasn't left you. It's not increasing to overwhelm you. It's increasing to align you. Ask yourself this, chosen one. Why does this moment feel different from all the others you've ignored? Why does this urgency feel calm, not chaotic? Why does it carry clarity instead of confusion? That's because divine urgency doesn't demand, it invites. It doesn't force, it positions. And when you're aligned, you recognize the difference instantly. There are moments in life where waiting would actually be disobedience, where delay would cost more than action. And God knows exactly when those moments arrive. So he awakens sensitivity in his chosen ones. He sharpens their awareness. He places a quiet weight on their spirit that says, pay attention, this matters. That is not pressure meant to stress you. It is confirmation that timing is critical. You are not being hurried into recklessness. You are being guided into obedience. Divine urgency never asks you to abandon wisdom. It asks you to trust alignment. It asks you to move while the doors open, while hearts are receptive, while the opportunity to help, heal, or intervene still exists. Have you noticed how this urgency keeps returning even when you try to distract yourself? How it resurfaces in silence? How it doesn't fade with logic? That's because it didn't come from thought, it came from spirit. God is not giving you the full picture yet because full pictures often create hesitation. He is giving you the next step because obedience happens one step at a time. Chosen one, this urgency is not meant to exhaust you. It is meant to awaken you. It is heaven's way of saying you are trusted, you are positioned, you are needed now. And that is not something given lightly. So let me ask you this. What happens if you honor this stirring instead of questioning it? What shifts if you move with faith instead of waiting for certainty? Timing is not just about readiness, it's about responsiveness. Stay present, stay attentive. Because when God moves with urgency, it is always because something sacred is unfolding, and you have been invited into the moment that matters most. Chosen one, take a moment to reflect on the path that led you here. Not just the last few minutes, but the years behind you. The twists, the delays, the unexpected turns that never seemed to make sense while you were walking through them. You didn't arrive at this moment by accident. Nothing about your presence here is random. Every step, every lesson, every stretch of waiting was quietly preparing you for moments exactly like this one. Your life has been a classroom, even when it felt like a battlefield. The things you survived refined your sensitivity. The losses you endured deepened your compassion. The confusion you faced sharpened your discernment. You were being shaped to recognize need without needing it to be announced. That is not common. That is calling. God doesn't position everyone this way, only those who can carry responsibility without turning it into pride. Ask yourself this, chosen one, Why do certain situations touch you more deeply than others? Why do you feel drawn to help when others remain detached? That pull didn't come from personality alone. It came from preparation. God allows you to experience just enough pain to develop empathy, but enough healing to offer hope. That balance is intentional. God aligns paths so help arrives exactly when it's needed most. Sometimes that alignment looks like coincidence, a message appearing at the right moment, a name crossing your mind unexpectedly, a sudden awareness that won't let you look away. But in the spiritual realm, there are no accidents. There is only orchestration. Heaven moves pieces quietly so no one feels forced, yet everything arrives on time. You are not randomly involved in this story. You were placed here intentionally. God doesn't waste positioning. When He brings you into awareness, it's because your presence matters. Not because you have all the answers, but because you are willing. Willingness is more powerful than perfection. Availability opens doors that skill alone never could. Have you noticed how your compassion has grown more precise over time? You no longer feel called to save everyone. You no longer spread yourself thin trying to fix the world. Instead, when something is truly assigned to you, your spirit recognizes it immediately. That's maturity. That's alignment. That's how you know this moment is not random. Your experiences were not detours, they were deposits. God stored wisdom in you through hardship. He stored patience in you through delay. He stored clarity in you through confusion. And now at the right time, He is drawing from what He placed within you. So let me ask you this, chosen one. What if your journey wasn't about reaching comfort, but about becoming capable? What if the reason you endured what you did is because someone else would one day need what you carry? Stay grounded in this truth. You are not here by chance. You are here by design. And when God positions someone on purpose, it's always because a moment of impact is unfolding, and you were trusted to be part of it. Chosen one, there is a sacred misunderstanding many people carry. That breakthrough requires perfection, strength, or a complete plan. But heaven works differently. God is not asking you to solve everything. He is not demanding that you carry the full weight of the outcome. What He is asking for is far simpler and far more powerful. He is asking you to take a step. Obedience is not dramatic. It doesn't announce itself with thunder. Most of the time, it feels almost too small to matter. A message sent when pride says stay silent. A prayer whispered when doubt says it won't change anything. A moment of encouragement offered when you yourself feel tired. Yet these small acts are never small in the spiritual realm. They are keys, and keys don't need to be large. They need to be aligned. Ask yourself this, chosen one. How many times did you wait to feel ready when God was simply waiting for you to move? How often did you delay because the step felt insignificant? Obedience doesn't require clarity about the destination. It requires trust in the direction. And when that trust is honored, heaven responds. God often hides massive shifts inside simple instructions. He knows that grand gestures can be driven by ego, but small obedience is usually driven by faith. A single message can interrupt despair. A prayer can shift a spiritual atmosphere. A quiet act of support can stabilize someone on the edge. You may never see the full impact of what you do, but heaven always does. Breakthroughs rarely begin with fireworks. They begin with alignment. When you take one obedient step, you enter motion, and motion invites momentum. What felt stagnant begins to loosen. What felt blocked begins to respond. Not because of your power, but because of your willingness. Have you noticed how God doesn't overwhelm you with 10 steps at once? He gives you one. Clear, gentle, present. Because obedience happens in the now, not in the future. You don't obey tomorrow, you obey today. And today is where grace is available. This is where trust deepens. You act without needing applause. You move without needing confirmation from people. You respond even when the results are hidden. That kind of obedience carries authority. It tells heaven, I'm listening. And when heaven knows you're listening, it speaks more clearly. Chosen one, you are not responsible for the outcome. You are responsible for the response. God handles multiplication. God handles timing. God handles transformation. Your role is movement. Simple, intentional, faithful movement. So let me ask you this. What is the step being placed in front of you right now? Not the whole staircase, just the next step. What happens if you take it without overthinking, without delaying, without shrinking it? Obedience unlocks breakthrough not because it earns favor, but because it creates alignment. And when alignment is achieved, doors that once resisted begin to open effortlessly. Stay attentive, stay willing, because the breakthrough you're waiting for may already be waiting for your obedience. Chosen one, understand this truth deeply. Heaven is not only aware of outcomes, it watches responses. God does not measure your worth by how much you accomplish, but by the heart you carry when you move. Every decision you make from compassion, every act taken in humility, every moment you choose love over indifference is seen, recorded, and honored in ways you may never fully witness on this side of eternity. Heaven watches your response because your response reveals alignment. Anyone can act when it benefits them. Anyone can move when recognition is guaranteed. But when you respond quietly, without being asked, without needing credit, something sacred is revealed. God sees the intention behind your action, not just the action itself. He knows whether you moved out of obligation or out of love, and heaven responds accordingly. Ask yourself this, chosen one, when no one is watching, when there is no reward in sight, do you still feel compelled to do what is right? That inner pull matters more than you realize. It signals maturity. It signals trustworthiness. God entrusts greater impact to those who can carry responsibility without turning it into pride. When you move with compassion, you step into divine flow. Compassion is not weakness, it is strength directed outward. It allows God to work through you without resistance. When you move with humility, you stay teachable. You don't assume you know the full picture. You remain open to correction, guidance, and timing. And when you move with love, you align with God's nature itself, because love is the language heaven responds to most quickly. Your willingness becomes part of a larger plan. This is where perspective shifts. What feels like a small response to you may be the missing piece in someone else's breakthrough. What feels like a simple act may bring relief to a burdened heart, hope to a discouraged soul, or restoration to a situation that looked beyond repair. Heaven weaves these responses together into outcomes far greater than any single act. Have you ever looked back and realized that one small decision changed the course of something much bigger? That's how heaven works. God multiplies what is offered willingly. He connects obedience to outcomes you may never trace back to yourself. And that's intentional, because the glory was never meant to rest on you, but to flow through you. Chosen one, heaven is attentive to how you respond in moments like this. Not with pressure, not with fear, but with freedom. You are not being tested, you are being trusted. Trusted to move with the heart you've developed through hardship, patience, and growth. So let me ask you this. What kind of response will heaven witness from you today? One rooted in hesitation or one rooted in love? Remember, your response doesn't just affect you. It echoes outward, touching lives you may never meet and shaping outcomes you may never see. Stay aligned, stay compassionate, stay humble. Because when heaven watches your response and finds love, it always responds in return, bringing restoration, hope, and relief far beyond what you could ever measure. Chosen one, there are moments in life that exist for a fleeting window, a doorway open just long enough for alignment to occur. These moments are delicate, precise, and divinely timed. They do not linger indefinitely. Heaven does not delay opportunities that are meant to bring relief, restoration, or transformation. Acting too late can allow comfort to slip, hope to wane, and pain to linger longer than necessary. That's why the prompt you feel, the stirring in your spirit, the urgency in your heart, is not coincidence. It is heaven's timing calling you to respond. Some moments carry weight far beyond what we see. What may appear small to your human perspective, a kind message, a word of encouragement, a timely gesture, can be a lifeline in the spiritual realm. It can prevent despair from deepening. It can intervene where darkness is creeping. It can open doors for someone who has been trapped in struggle far longer than you realize. Acting now preserves what God intended to be immediate. Delay is not always innocent. Delay can create unnecessary suffering when intervention is within reach. Ask yourself this, Chosen one, how often have you looked back and realized that hesitation cost more than effort? How often did you wait for the perfect moment only to find the opportunity had passed? That is the lesson heaven is sending you now. Some moments are fleeting, but when you respond, your obedience multiplies in ways you cannot fully measure. God's timing is meticulous. When He orchestrates an alignment, it is intentional, precise, and necessary. The universe moves in rhythm with His plan, and your readiness to act is what bridges heaven's timing with earthly impact. Your willingness to move now transforms timing into outcome. What you do today is not just a response. It is a protective force that shields someone from extended pain, a guardrail that preserves hope, a spark that ignites change when circumstances seem stagnant. Have you noticed how small actions often carry invisible ripples? A single call, a simple encouragement, even a silent prayer offered at the right time can prevent days, months, or even years of struggle. Heaven positions responders carefully. You were placed here not by accident, but with purpose, so that your action or lack of action carries eternal consequence. Chosen one, understand this clearly. Waiting out of fear, overthinking, or self-doubt is not neutrality. It is lost opportunity. Acting now honors divine orchestration. It respects the sacred window that God has opened. It allows relief to arrive exactly when it is meant to, and your obedience becomes the bridge between struggle and restoration. So let me ask you this. What would happen if you allowed hesitation to pass this moment by? And what could happen if you step forward immediately, trusting the stirrings of your spirit? One small movement today could change the trajectory of someone else's life entirely. Acting now protects the moment, chosen one. It preserves timing, multiplies blessing, and delivers the relief heaven has already prepared. Don't wait, move.